Let's call this general committee meeting of St. Bernard Parish School Board to order at this time. Superintendent Boche, would you lead us in prayer? Ms. Darcy, would you lead us in the pledge?
Dear Heavenly Father, we are grateful for the beautiful fall weather that is finally coming our way and for the continuing good works that are taking place in our schools. As we finish the first quarter of the school year, we pray that our teachers and our students are becoming comfortable with the academic challenges before them and establishing those important relationships that are so important to teaching and learning. Please be with our administrators as they guide the work at their schools each day and give us the wisdom we need to support them in the best possible ways. These things we ask in your name.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Superintendent Boche, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Acevedo? Here. Mr. Campbell is not with us. Mrs. DeFatta?
Here.
Mr. Egan?
Here.
Mr. England?
Here.
Mrs. Dysart?
Here.
Dr. Kraft?
Yeah.
Dr. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Nikosha?
Here.
Mr. Warner?
Here. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to take a point of personal privilege. I promised you when I got this information I would share it with you. There will be a memorial service for Max Shanefeld, who was a school board member here for 16 years. It will be held at the Covenant United Methodist Church at 1:30 p.m. at 115 East Diamore at Parish Road. That's here in Chalmette. So
What day?
that's on a Sunday, October the 26th. Sunday afternoon, 1:30 p.m. Okay. Thank you very much. At this point, we will move to Ms. Dysart, who co-chairs the Education Committee. Ms. Dysart.
Thank you, Dr. Kraft. The education item is investing parents and ACT scores. And with us tonight, we have our wonderful administrators from Chalmette High School. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello. Thank you for inviting us just to tell you about this. We won't take a lot of your time, but this past weekend we had 172 students and parents come to a forum that we had about the ACT, and it was primarily to give parents and also to motivate students, but to give parents information about what they needed to know about the ACT, because ACT is one of those things that, you know, a lot of people have no really good idea about what it really is and how it works and all that type of thing. So because of that, we thought this was a good time to do it, and we were very happy with the turnout, and it turned out really well. And we have some, as we've given our presentation, we'll have some pictures that show up on your screen back of you. And we might need to turn that light out, but I'd like to ask Ms. Munt if she would come and tell you a little bit about why we did it, okay?
Again, thank you for having us. This began last July when we had our Data Fest that our School Board Administration Central Office has us meet every year to look at our data. So when we look at our data, we discovered that there are things that we need to do to continue to increase our ACT scores and make sure that the students and the parents both invested in that, to form a partnership with us as their teachers to make sure that they took the ACT test seriously and understood that when we gave a practice test, for example, which we do in November, that they take that seriously and make sure that they do as well as they can on it, because the feedback from those tests will help them take ownership of where they are academically. So what we did was we met with our teachers during planning period meetings. We do this every Thursday. So over the course of the first few weeks of school, we began to develop an agenda that we felt like parents needed to know about the ACT, what they should understand about the students earning their high school diplomas, and those kinds of things. So we put an agenda together, sat with our counselors, and kind of shaped the various groups that the students and the parents would go to. So we began with a large group. Ms. Boche was there to kind of kick off the day for us. And then we had small groups. The parents and the students visited small groups each 4 times. And then, of course, we had an ending session where they were able to give us feedback. We haven't analyzed the feedback yet. I have not seen it yet, but we plan to look at that and see ways that we can continue to improve this. We invited parents of juniors and seniors right now. We hope to expand it in the future to freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, so that beginning at an early age in high school, they can foster those ACT skills and work on them and continue to increase their scores. And parents will be well aware of what ACT means to them in terms of scholarships, in terms of financial support for college through FAFSA, through Top Scholars and those kinds of things. So we thought it was very successful. We enjoyed the day. It was a great Saturday morning to spend with the kids and their parents. And it gave us a chance to meet with parents in small groups and individually to talk about kids and what their specific needs were. So it was a great day for all of us, and we do appreciate everybody's help on that from our faculty. All right? Will, and now Mr. Schneider's going to give you a few more details about it.
And just to get into the specifics of it, like Ms. Munt said, Ms. Voce came in, had a nice general assembly with all 172 participants, and then we had 4 different breakout sessions in. Our instructional coaches put together a schedule, so we're altered, but they got every person who was there got to go through these 4 different breakout sessions. The first one was entitled What, When, and Why. So basically just talked about what was the ACT score, or not the score, what is the ACT? Well, actually, what is the test? What are the different sections of the test? How is it broken down? What are the different percentages of questions that are involved in there? When are the ACT tests given? And then why do we do this, and why is it such a big thing, not only for our school with school performance scores, but also for students to get into college? So the first one was what, when, and why. The second one was what do the numbers mean? So each of the students who went, our counselors and instructional coaches and admins, put together a folder with all of their information. So they had their scores, their ACT scores, Plan, Explore scores, GPAs. We broke down what do the GPAs mean, what are the different types of GPAs we have, what do you need in order to get into certain colleges in regards to GPA and also to ACT. So we talked about that as well, and we also hit on what ACT scores do you need that are kind of the benchmarks to say that you are college ready. The next section that we had was the ACT number and how it equates to money. So we talked about the higher score that you have, the more money that you get, and we also got into a little bit of college scholarships in that particular aspect. And the 4th breakout session was next steps. So they saw their scores, they saw their GPAs. What is the next step to improve those scores? What are some techniques? What are some strategies that they can work on at home in class in order to continue to improve to get the numbers that they need in order to meet the goals of not only the state but also of different colleges? And lastly, what we did once all the 4 sections were done, we had the computer labs at the academy, which were opened up so that each individual who was there could actually register for the ACT test, whichever one was coming up. So we had counselors, we had admins, the instructional coaches, teachers, all in these rooms answering these specific questions while the students were actually registering for the ACT test. And like Ms. Munt said, we received a survey. We haven't analyzed the data yet, but the initial feedback that we've gotten has been all positive, which is great. So I'm really looking forward to looking at those surveys and getting even more information. That was probably one of the best presenters that they had there, but just throwing that out there. So, but we're going to use the data, obviously, that we get to, to prepare and set up for future ones that we're going to have. Not only ACT forms for junior and seniors, but we're also looking into other ones that we can do for our lower level, which are our freshman or sophomore classes as well. Mr. Warren.
And we plan to do as many this type of thing as we can, as with as many different parents. So this coming Thursday is our parent report card conference night, and we'll have 3 sessions dealing with what does it take to get a diploma. Okay, this will be a little different emphasis. This is basically on the diploma and what is school, then we talk about credits and grade point average and so forth with all of that. So it'll be a little different emphasis, but we hope to involve the parents in that. And, as I said, we'll have three meetings about those things. So that's it. We just wanted to tell you that we did a few things that, with the community that we hope will produce some good results. And I think the parents really enjoyed the fact that, they had an opportunity to ask questions about maybe an area that they weren't really sure about.
Okay. Well, Mr. Warner, Ms. Munt, And Mr. Schneider, thank you very much for your presentation, and it looks as though you had great participation, and it seemed very informational and resourceful for the parents and the students. And ACT is kind of scary, you know, for students to take, and as you said, the parents really don't know, you know, may not know how much, you know, is based on your ACT scores, whether you get into one college or another, and whether or not their student or their child can possibly get a scholarship.
Correct.
So it sounds like y'all had a very successful morning, and we thank you very much for your presentation. And it's great that you know, you gave so much information to the parents and to the students. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we had some questions, Mr. Egan.
Just one thing. It was fantastic. I think it's a great idea. What I would like, though, if you could let us know, I'd like to go there. Fortunately, when I went through school, we didn't have it. Fortunately for me. But anyway, no, I would like to know because, you know, truthfully, I don't know too much about it, and I would be happy. I'd love to go to one of the sessions just to see. I think it's a great idea. Yeah, that is a fantastic thing y'all doing, because I know some people have asked me, and I had to tell them I'm not too sure about this, which I'm not. So that would be the only thing. If you could give us a little, you know, forecasting when we're going to have it or something, so we could come there and just sit and watch.
We'll be happy to.
Thank y'all. Fantastic job.
Dr.
Mr.
Kraft?
Fatter's before me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you
Yeah,
had
Mr.
something.
Fatter.
Mr. Fatter?
And I'm next.
Thank you, Mr. Dysart.
Yeah.
I want to thank y'all first for holding this for the parents. Now, I wasn't as fortunate as Mr. Egan. I did have to take the ACT, so I took it, and my daughter took it, and my son took it, so I'm unfortunately well familiar with the ACT. But I'm very happy that y'all held something like this, because I know a lot of parents are not familiar with it, and how much it does count toward their child advancing on in college, getting scholarships, the colleges that they can get into. Now, are we planning, or are you planning on having another one for any parents that maybe missed this one because of conflicts with scheduling or anything?
Well, this was for 10th, excuse me, this was for the 11th and 12th grade students.
Okay.
Because this is the area that they're in. Now, we do have plans for the other grades also, but I would think in the spring we'll do the same kind of thing for ACT.
Okay, and that would be for parents of 11th and 12th graders,
Right.
maybe
For
that
anybody.
missed this
We can
one?
open it up for everybody.
Okay, because I know sometimes we hold these, and the parents would like to come, but
Exactly.
things happen, they can't make it, and then they've
Right.
missed out on the information. We want to make sure that we give them another opportunity to come, but I really appreciate y'all putting this together, especially a Saturday. I know you had to come in, other teachers had to come in, but that's our system, you know, we're all family, and everybody's willing to come in and do that, and we really appreciate it. But I'm glad to see that it was well attended, and I think that the feedback is going to be positive on
Good.
it.
Thank
Thank you.
Dr. Grant?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Dysart. Mr. Warner, Mr. Snyder, and Ms. Munt, we appreciate you coming and sharing this information with us. But what I see that ACT is a very competitive test, and I mean competitive in the fact that the better you do, then the better you show up for college, because it is American college test. So many of them, depending on what they make in the subject area there, they have a composite score, which is the overall number that they make. I think 36 is a perfect composite score, but and they can take it several times, and the highest score they get on the composite scale is what counts, that goes to the college when it transfers, is what I understand. So it's a good thing to be aware and lower the apprehension. So many of them, they probably need to take it more than once because of the fact they're so uptight at that point. They need to take it again and just relax, because most people, the apprehension comes from not knowing what the format of the test is, and once they get used to that, then it's better. And so it's very good that you not only make the students understand what's at stake, but also the parents, and that's extremely important. So thank you for what you're doing and what you will continue to do in apprising everyone of the ACT.
Thank you so much.
Are there any other comments, questions? Ms. Voce?
Yeah, it was really a wonderful experience Saturday morning, and I do want to thank Mr. Warner, Ms. Mott, Mr. Schneider. Ms. Watson was incredible in helping to put all of this together. Ms. Boackle was there, all of the counselors, the instructional coaches. So it was really a school effort by the people that you see in front of you to get such a, I guess, a large event together. The importance of the ACT, we talk about standardized tests, and the kids just seem to have to take so many of them, starting when they're very, very young and all through school. And sometimes the importance of the ACT series gets pushed back when we talk about LEAP and iLEAP and end-of-course tests and such. But the ACT test itself is part of the high school performance score. But as these people have said, more importantly, for families, it's extremely important in terms of scholarship funds and admittance into the universities, the colleges and universities that they wish to get into. But what I don't think some people realize, including maybe even some of our own employees, is as we begin to prepare students for that ACT, we don't just start the day before they take it. You don't just go in and take this test cold. We start at the elementary level and then at the middle school with the curriculum that we have and putting in the springboard series in the middle and high school. And then we begin the ACT testing series in 8th grade, really for some of our 7th graders when they take that Duke Talent Search. But all of our 8th graders take a test called Explore, which is a precursor to the ACT. And the scores that kids get on that can predict, to a large extent, the path that they're headed on, where their weaknesses are, and what their ACT score might be or might look like several years in the future. So they take the Explore test their 8th grade year, then every 9th grader takes the Explore test again. All right, then in the 10th grade, they take a test called Plan, and it's all in the ACT series. And sometimes I don't think parents realize that the scores they're getting on the Explore and the Plan are a predictor to what they are going to get on the ACT if things don't intervene or change along the way. And our teachers and our school administrators should be using and do use those results to look at an individual child's academic profile and then hopefully shore up those weaknesses in those particular areas and give them as much of an opportunity as possible then to make the highest ACT score they possibly can. Then in November, everything shuts down at Shellman High School on a day. Is it the 18th this year or 16th? The 19th? And it was a teen. So on November 19th, it shuts down and they take a practice or a mock ACT test. So they'll all be doing that. All the juniors will be doing that on the 19th.
Well, everybody will be.
Everybody will? We're going to do it all?
Sophomore, juniors.
Well, great. So they're all going to take a practice ACT test that they're going to administer just like the real one. And then every junior in the state of Louisiana on a school day in March will take the ACT, and it will count as a score. It'll count in the school performance score, but it'll also count for that child individually for his admittance and potential scholarships. But then he can take it as many times as he wants. The Shellman High School is also a testing center for our students so that they don't have to go to UNO and take it on a Saturday morning or go to some school or facility in the city. So I know that y'all are a testing center on 3 different occasions on Saturday mornings throughout the year as well. So not only will all juniors take it in March, but all the students have the availability of signing up for it on national testing dates, and Shellman High School is an official center at which they can take it. So there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of planning that goes along with it, a lot of earlier tests which are predictors of how the students are going to do. And I think this is an attempt to make are to educate the parents a little bit as to when they get the results of these scores on Explore and Plan and some of these other tests, that they take those seriously, and they'll know what to look for and how to help their student and work with the counselors and the teachers at the school to help their children do better, you know, on the test as they become juniors and then seniors. So I think it was a wonderful opportunity, and I guess we're looking forward with the freshmen maybe and sophomores that their parents then would get a little bit more in service, as we call it, in what are some of the scores they should be looking at now, so that when their child takes that ACT in their junior year, that the child is prepared for. So,
Mr. Warner? Thank you, Ms. Voce.
I would just maybe close a loop on what Ms. Lynette said about maybe, you know, we could videotape it and have a link out there, so Mr. Egan, who has a busy schedule, he may not be able to actually come to it. He could maybe click on a video and watch it, you know. And I know Mr. Nakosha wouldn't mind seeing it either, so maybe we could do something like that.
What about yourself, sir?
I already took the ACT.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you. Yes.
One thing, and just follow up what Ms. Voce said, that I think it's good that you are involving the parents to understand how to read those scores, because my students took Iowa tests, who's still on Iowa tests, and one of the problems was the parents didn't understand when they got the Iowa test scores what they meant. So a lot of them would come to me and I would have to go over what the meaning was to read those test scores. So I think it's very helpful for the parents that you're having this, for them to also understand how to read those test scores and interpret them so that they'll understand. Sometimes the students, because they are meeting with the counselors and yourselves, they understand what it means, but the parents don't always. So I'm glad that we're reaching out to the parents and helping them understand it, because sometimes they're a little apprehensive. They're looking at something and thinking it's not very good, but it is really very good. And for them to understand that is very important. And I think it helps alleviate a lot of the tensions they have about how the students are doing. So I appreciate that you're reaching out to those parents and helping them with that. Thank you.
Anyone else? The fact that that Shelman High School hosts or has a testing site is very important, because the test starts at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, correct? For teenagers, it's a lot different to go to Shelman High School than to have to go to UNO or somewhere else. So that's a great plus for Shelman High. And the competition continues to get more stringent on the ACT. The universities seem like they continue to raise their standards. And I just heard the other day that LSU said that this was their incoming freshman class had the highest scores ever before, and I know Shelman High School contributed to that because they're a school. So great job, and keep up the good work, and thanks to all the staff members who participated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. England?
Thank you, Ms. Dysart. This is item number 5. This personnel changes for October 2014. We have Mr. Granberry. Good evening, sir. Good evening. This is for information purpose only. Take a look at the list, and if you have any questions for Mr. Granberry.
A lot of people having babies.
Oh. Must be in the water.
Must be.
Oh, we got more.
You got
That's
more?
just the ones that are
Really? Okay.
that are going out right now. We got a list of them coming.
So we're fully staffed right now, huh, Mr. Granberry?
We still need we're looking for, trying to fill one position at Smith Elementary.
Okay.
We had an unexpected resignation there.
Right.
And we're working on that.
Right. And you hear that thing for the substitute teachers?
That was this morning.
How did that turn out?
9 people.
9, okay.
We put it in the paper, you know, we hustled as much as we could. Yeah, 9 people.
Are we going to offer it again?
Yeah, we'll try, you know.
Right, okay.
We take
In case somebody-
applications each day for people who would like to substitute in our schools, and then we put them through the training and the fingerprinting and everything we need to do. So if anyone is interested
Right.
in substituting at the schools, please come to our personnel office and fill out the application so that we can start that process, because we are in need of classroom substitutes.
That's the reason why I brought it up.
You're right, Mr. Engel.
Thank you.
Would you mention the salary that they make? So that may help.
If they have a high school diploma, they get $60 a day. If they're a certified teacher and substituting, they get $80 a day. And then we have long-term subs that we put for like pregnancies and stuff like that. When a teacher's going to be out 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, they make beginning teacher salary, which is like $176 a day. But they must have a bachelor's degree in order to make the $176 a day.
Okay, sounds like a fair salary. Thank you.
And we have some people that work quite regularly, you know, for their $60 a day and do okay, you know. But they also have limits on how many hours they can work in a month per se.
Okay.
But it's a good part-time job, though.
It is, you know,
Yes.
and most of them enjoy it, you know, so.
Right.
And some of them actually go back to school, you know, they do it during the day and they go to school at night to become a teacher.
Right. That's the
And we
positive.
also have openings if anyone would like to train to be a substitute bus driver. And if you're interested in driving a bus, we do have people who will train you on site here, and we are a certified testing center and trainer for bus drivers as well, so.
So they can get their license.
Not only classroom substitutes, but bus driver substitutes as well.
And right now, Ms. Gonzalez is looking for a couple of people to be bus riders on the special education buses. You know, she needs some help there because she has a couple of people out, so.
That's good. Something to do.
Ms. England?
Yes, Ms. Dysart.
Thank you, Mr. England. Just to mention, we have a couple of retirees, Bradley Golland Sr. and Flora Watson. We want to just wish them a happy retirement and thank them for their many years of service. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Vermeer. We'll go on to item number 6, Mr. Nicosia.
Agenda item number 6, request for permission to advertise for bid for paper, cleaning, and custodial supplies. Mr. Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Nicosia. We're here tonight asking permission to advertise for bids for paper, cleaning, and custodial supplies. Like someone just said that.
Okay, I have a recommendation, a second. Any other questions, comments? Being none, please vote your machine.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. Dr. Kraft?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nicosia. We have the superintendent's recommendations at this time.
Just at the regular meeting, we will have, the auditors are completing, they have completed the field work for the audit and putting together all of the documents. And at the regular meeting, they should be here to give us the report of the 2013-14 audit, and we expect to hear good things. Also, at the meeting, we hope to be able to talk about the disciplinary hearing officers, which would be a requirement of Act 570 of this past legislative session. So we'll have that information for y'all at that meeting. Okay? And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Voce. Anyone have any concerns or questions at this point before we call for adjournment? Okay. Got a motion to adjourn by Ms. Esabetta, second by Ms. Dysart. All in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. We stand adjourned. Thank you for coming. Have a